When you are.
All right, you're all set.
Share out my screen and we'll get rocking and rolling there. So welcome to Google Calendar and You. Today we're going to learn about some of the different features and just nifty little hidden tricks inside of Google Calendar. Now, I'm Michael. I'm a help desk support specialist here at CTS. And on today's agenda, we're going to try to cover just a few different specific features, such as changing event owners in Google Calendar, creating events from Gmail, keyboard shortcut keys, scheduling tasks, and a couple of other things. We'll start right out with changing an event owner. So we have an event we're going to create here. We'll name it, we're going to name, you know what, it'll be this breakout session. So we have our breakout session that we're creating here, and we have all these different little nifty things here. We're gonna say this is going to be for today at 2:30. So we'll change the date there, obviously. What's today's date? Today's the 19th. So we're gonna make sure it's stated, or it's set as today. We're gonna put our time down. It's gonna be 2:30 to 3, or 2:50 rather, but let's set that up there. So once we've created our event, we can add different things such as a location, and we can add different guests, invited guests and things like that. But in this case, we're just gonna save that right away as our breakout session. So we're gonna go and save it. But, oh no, I'm on vacation this week. I completely forgot. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go into our new event. We're gonna go to today. We're gonna find our event that we just created, our new breakout session right here. So we can now change the event or the owner of our event, since I won't be presenting at this event, but my coworker might be. So we're going to go here. We're going to click right here on the event. Now that the event's open, we'll click on this little ellipsis here that's called options. And now we can scroll down to select change owner. Now we can change this, and whoever's going to be presenting now. In this case, I'm going to pass this along to our help account, and one of my coworkers will, and we can leave them a nice little message explaining what's going on. So, hi, I'm not available to present at this session. I was wondering if you could take it over. So now all we would have to do, we can literally click on change owner, and now that lives on the calendar of our help account, which we would get a notification on that account. It would send an email out through Google Calendar, and it would just be an email that says an event's been transferred to you. It would be more of an invitation to transfer an event, if that makes sense, as opposed to just a notification telling you. So it would say, Michael wants to transfer this event over to you. Do you want it? You would click yes or no. And then if you accept, it'll show up on your calendar instead. It's just a nifty little way to kind of pass along ownership of different events within your Google Calendar, which was always quite helpful. Once that is all set, all you'd have to do in that other account, like I said, is you would have to just go in and very simply accept it, and it becomes your event. Does anyone have any questions about changing owners of events? If no one has any questions, we're going to move right along to creating events from Gmail. So sometimes you might be trying to email back and forth with your colleagues to try to find a solution for something, be it an issue or just setting up a date for a meeting or something, but maybe that email just isn't getting the point across, and it does need to become a meeting, let's say. Well, you can't beat a face-to-face meeting. And what better way to do that than by just creating an event right out of that Gmail thread? So we're going to go in, we'll take a look at Gmail, bear with me, and we'll create an event from right inside of Gmail, right over to your Google Calendar. We'll email ourselves really quickly. Bear with me, sorry. We'll call this breakout session. Looking to schedule a breakout session today at 2:30. So we'll send that right over to myself right there. That should now pop up in our email inbox as a new email right there. Perfect. So now we're looking to schedule this breakout session today at 1:19 or today 1:19 at 2:30 p.m. So all we would have to do to get this into our Google Calendar is we would click on these three ellipses or this ellipsis right here, these three dots, which are more options, and we can go here and click create event, which will create this and send it right over to our Google Calendar. What it does, which is really nifty, it tries to fill out as much of the information as it can kind of obtain from within Google Calendar and just fun stuff or from within the Gmail message thread and stuff like that. So it will pull the subject line and that's what the meeting would be named. It tries to pull the timing as well. It doesn't always work out, as in ours. We had tried 2:30. It seems to have popped over to 3 here. We can always adjust that, make some quick adjustments. We have our breakout session now. And then right over here where it does mention, it'll take this, or in this field right here, it'll pull the subject content of the email rather, and it inputs it right here. So now we have our new event and we can add any guests we want. If I wanted to add any of my colleagues potentially, but this is just going to be a meeting between me and our help desk team. So we would click on the people we wanted to invite there, and we would click right here on save, and we would then send our invitations right over to them. Or we can choose not to. We can also choose to send our invitations, or we can choose not to send an invitation. In this case, we're not going to send an invitation, so that way it'll just show up on the calendar instead of sending them an email. But certain things may require just a notification. If it's not something everyone already knows about, we might want to send those invitations. So it's just one of those cool little things about Google Calendar. Now, another cool thing we can do within that, right within there, if we did want to create an event there, through there, anyone who's in the CC. So if I reply to this here, and let's say I CC our help account, I CC that right there, send our email, say, I am free for that meeting. Send that to our help account. Then we would create our new event. And now what it's going to do, it'll automatically, well, already be in there. So we're going to save it without that. Bear with me. And now when we go right here and we create event, it's going to automatically pull off the CC line, anyone who's CC'd, and it will create that event right there using that CC line as the guest. We would then click save, and everything else would be standard procedure as we did discuss already. Did anyone have any questions relating to this specific feature, creating events from Gmail? Or if no one has any questions regarding those features or regarding that specific feature, we'll move along to our next one, which will be just some nifty little keyboard shortcuts. So keyboard shortcuts, they allow you to navigate quickly through. It's actually pretty cool. It helps you out with different stuff like that. So once we're back in our Google Calendar, we open up we would first have to enable our keyboard shortcuts if they're not already. They're actually really nifty as they allow you to just kind of streamline your productivity and different things you might be doing during the day. Once you have them set up and configured, you would just press on the question mark key on your keyboard and it shows you a whole list of them, but let's go through the process of configuring it. So we would go up to our settings gear right here. We're going to click on settings. That'll take us into all these fun different settings for our Google Calendar right here. On the left-hand side, we're going to click on keyboard shortcuts, and we're going to make sure that this box is checked. It's already enabled on my account, so we won't have to enable it, but if it's not enabled on your account, you would just click this box and you would move right back in. It should, by clicking that back arrow, and it should save it. So now when we press our question mark, it will, bear with me. Once you press the question mark key on your keyboard, it opens up that cheat sheet of those keyboard characters. And then it'll give you the whole different list of it. And it's going to try to type it there. Let's try it that way. There we go. So it's going to pull up that different list. And these are all the different things we can do with keyboard shortcuts. There's a whole bunch of them that we can go through, different things they each do. There are some really cool ones here. We're not going to go through all of them just for time reasons of time, but we'll try to create an event using a keyboard shortcut. So I'm going to move my mouse out of the way. We're going to the keyboard. We're going to click on our C key because we want to create a new event. We click on C, it opens up the new event window. We can name that event whatever we want and then create any associated things, and then we would save it. In this case, I'm just going to X out of it since we already have that saved on the calendar already. We'll take a look at just a couple of more keyboard shortcuts before we move along to our next feature. So let's say we want to look at an event for a different date. We have a couple of different options. We have our views, which will show us certain days within a range, or let's say we just want to go to a specific date. So we'll click on our G key, and then we can type in our date in the window that does pop up. So we're going to look at tomorrow specifically, January 20th. We would go there. It's going to highlight it. It'll bring you up to your window right there, and it'll show you January 20th. And it looks like I happen to have a meeting there January 20th at 3:30. So that would be our specific meetings for that date. Now, there are some other cool things you can do with keyboard shortcuts. We can always do different things like deleting events. We're not going to delete any events here, but let's say we accidentally deleted an event. We could click Command Z, and then that would undo our last action if possible. Or if you're on a Windows computer, you would use Control Z. And then once you press Escape, let's say we're in an event over here. We're in we'll pick a random one. Just this one right here is fine. We can open this up as an event. Actually, it's not going to let us because it's not a regular event. We'll do this one here. So we'll edit our event. We'll click Escape, and that'll take us right back out to our home page of all our meetings. So if it doesn't save any changes when we hit Escape though. So we do always want to make sure if we're looking to save our changes that we're hitting the save button instead of just pressing Escape, as Escape will just discard all your changes and move back right over along to your main home screen for your calendar. Now, before I move on to our next feature that we're going to talk about, which will be scheduling tasks in Google Calendar, does anyone have any questions on our keyboard shortcuts or anything like that?
Sorry, how were you pulling up that list of shortcuts?
No worries. So when you click right down on, or when you're on your calendar, you would click on the keyboard, you would hold down, you would press Shift and the question mark.
Thank you.
No problem. Are there any other questions? Or if not, we'll move right along to scheduling tasks. Okay, in that case, we're going right over to scheduling tasks. So we are in our Google Calendar there for scheduling, and we want to schedule a task. So what we would do in this case, we would go to My Calendars. We would have to make sure tasks are enabled. And once they are, that little check mark box will show up there. It may be different colors on your personal Oswego account, depending on just how your calendars are configured. But one way or the other, there should be one there that says tasks, and you just want to make sure you see that little check mark or that little checkbox. And once we have done that, now that would show if we had any tasks, they would also show up on our calendar. So since I don't have any tasks at the moment, they're not going to show up. But what we're going to do, we're going to create a task. So we're going to go right up here and we're going to go to create. We're going to click on this little drop down menu and we're going to go right over here to task. This is something we want to remember potentially. And it's going to create this little task. And I want to remember this afternoon, I have to turn off my computer at the end of the day. So if you wanted to add a description, you could. In my case, I don't think it's necessary since the title of the task is self-explanatory. We would choose the time. Since I finished work today at 4:30, we would go right here, choose our time. We would set the date. Today would be the 19th. We would check it. And then once we've done that, we've entered our title. We're going to click save. So what we're going to do now that we have saved it, that's going to be today. Let's say it's 4:30 now. All I have to do now, bear with me, I have to just move away from there on me. We would click on it. 4:30, I just turned off my computer. I'm going to click mark completed right before I do, obviously. Then that task will get crossed off over there since it was already finished, and we'll move right along and enjoy the rest of our evening. Does anyone have any questions about scheduling tasks? No one has any questions regarding scheduling tasks? We'll move right in to our next feature, which we'll discuss quickly before we start to wrap up. This would be scheduling meetings. And to schedule a meeting in Google Calendar, it's just 3 simple steps. You would open your Google Calendar homepage and we would click anytime on a calendar that doesn't already have an event scheduled. So here on the homepage, I want to create an event here. We're going to change our view just today for purposes of making this easier. So we're going to go right here. We're going to set a task for 11 a.m. or I apologize. We're going to schedule a meeting for 11 a.m. We click on it right there and it opens up our new tab right here where we can create our event as we discussed earlier with just creating different things in Google Calendar. But the other thing that I am going to mention is if you want to create a longer event than the default, which is from 11 or which is 1 hour, in this case from 11 to 12, we can always create longer events by dragging our mouse down the page while you're selecting the time. So instead of just clicking there, which just opens up that brief 1 hour meeting there, we can hold down shift, pick a specific time, drag it and drop it down. And once we've got the times lined up there, we would let go of our mouse and the shift key, and it would allow us to create that new event there and add any guests. If it's a Google Video Meet or a Google Meet video conference, we would do it that way. And then you're all set. We can add our rooms locations and descriptions and any notifications, and we would click save, and then it would be on our calendar. Does anyone have any questions about that guy there before we do wrap up, since it is almost 2:50? If no one has any questions there, I do just want to thank you all for coming today. Are there any questions overall about anything we discussed today or no? No, in that case, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. And thank you for coming to Google Calendar and you.
Great, thank you, Michael.
No problem. Have a good one.